I stand firmly in the fact that I'm one of the best to ever do this. For the culture, for my coast, and for my city. This is the Best Rapper in LA podcast. And I'm your host, Murs. What up, though? Brilla 94. 94, rugged raw, kicking in your goddamn door, and it go like.
Fuck the world, don't ask me for shit. Everything you get, you got to work hard for it.
Honey, shake your hips.
You don't stop.
The niggas pack the clip.
Oh man, if you could finish that sentence, we're really friends. It's one of my favorite songs ever off one of my favorite albums ever, and that album, Ready to Die, was a huge inspiration for the new album, Love and Rockets 316s, which is still new to me. Go back and listen to it.
30 years deep, no record in rotation, but everybody know my name up at the station. Big boy, what up though? 243-5290. Radio make money, but it don't make fans, so I ain't asking for a favor when I'm shaking your hand. Don't give me no spins, fuck it, throw me on the playlist. Everybody see it, but nobody wanna say shit. Spotify killed the radio star. Rap caviar, you play in your car. When they see you need it, don't nobody give you shit. But when they see you beating everybody on your dick, criticize me like Christ crucify me. Never sold my soul, so the devil gon' despise me. But I got $1 every time they deny me. Worth a few million, I invested it. Why I ain't got a hit? I ain't on shit. Try and tell me this ain't that, like that ain't this. I ain't got a hit.
As we get into this, the final episode, before we start breaking down the new album, if anyone, once again, thinks we should not do that, not skip ahead, and wants to keep going chronologically, let me know. This is part 2 to Animal Style. Try to wrap it up. This could go on forever. But this is a story song, and I often forget that you guys didn't get the first episodes of this podcast. My first solo rap song was produced by Double K. It was called Red Dots, and it was a story. It was a story about these 6 grown men that, to me, their time they're grown. They're probably early 20s, late teens. I was a tiny, slight individual still, on my way to 5'8" 3/4. You know, probably $130 something. Battled these guys at a club, and I don't ever give their. Like, this is the 90s. These motherfuckers found out what high school I went to and came to terrorize me. Never would throw hands with these guys. They never ever. They chased me once with some girls I was with. I think we did talk about that. Completely, is it emasculated, demasculated, whatever, made me feel less of a man. Further prolonging the day of my losing my virginity. Thought sweet love was going to happen down by the fire. And man, it was a dirty ass, ugly ass gun in a dirty ass, ugly ass car, by the way. This is where my gall and gumption come from now. Had I been the person I would have just said, yo, shoot me with that raggedy ass gun. Because I don't even think this shit's going to work. Believe it or not, it took money to have a gun. That very place, I never wondered. That's why I chose to, at that corner, I don't know if we talked about this, but I started hiding a hatchet. Because I used to take it with me to school because I couldn't afford a gun. You had to be a real D-boy or, like, you know, in a gang to borrow a gun. Somebody was arguing with me. People always argue, it's harder not to be in a gang and still be outside, at least in my era. Because then you could also always borrow somebody from the hood's gun. My friend that had a gun lived way in Ladera Heights. It was a taped up 22, 25. But just as janky, like tag bangers, the hip hop niggas had janky burners. That's it. We had dusty, janky, even the big homie, rest in peace, had what we call the Civil War rifle. When they started shooting up on Cloverdale, that nigga came out with that shit. The Civil War rifle, we used to call it. Anyway, this is, like I said, early 90s. Guns we weren't dealing with the best artillery in my neighborhood. So I had a hatchet. And I did store it there because when you think back, I didn't have the words for it, but that's, that was the epicenter of one of my most traumatic incidents as a youth. So years later, I made a song about it. that's why I started writing stories. So that was my therapy, like me telling stories on this podcast, whether it's good or not.
See, I'm but one child from a broken home whose sole companion is a microphone. I roam the streets of L.A. alone, and the only beef I own is past conflictions through the transcriptions left on stone. Now let me tell you the occasion when I caught an abrasion with these 6 peculiar characters. See, it always happens when you least prefer. A test of your true skill occurs. See, I was sitting, maintaining my own realm as God tends to do.
But the first story rap I heard, I used to say, maybe I'm going to research this. Hold on. The year was 1987 when both of these songs came out. I used to always say it was Cinderfella by Dana Dane that made me want to tell stories. That was my favorite, one of my favorite rap songs to this day.
Once upon a time, Brooklyn was the scene. In the project that they call Fort Greene, there lived a young man, Cinderfella's his name. To make it interesting, it's me, Dana Dane. I live in a house with my crew.
But Boys in the Hood is actually a story. Woke up quick at about noon.
About noon, just thought that I had to be in Compton soon. I gotta get drunk before the day begins, before my mother starts bitching about my friends.
Cruising down the street in my 6'4", went through the park to get, like, it's just, a car pulled up, who can it be? All those things, like he was telling, like, from the time he woke up, just a day in the life, and that was great to me, and I could relate to that more than Cinderfella, but Cinderfella I could relate to because we knew the fairy tale, and turned it into a rap was fresh for me. And then we can't forget the Beastie Boys' Paul Revere. It wasn't the most believable story, but it was a story, and it had no hook. And that was kind of what Red Dots. Cinderfella had a hook, Boys in the Hood, and Paul Revere didn't have it. I think Paul Revere was, what year, 86? So that as 8, 9 years old, those are probably the 3 records that had a lot to do with it. Later on, Love's Gonna Get You by Karis One, another good story.
You know, that's why.
Superman Lover by Redman.
Let me tell you a story about the Superman lover. Yo, I was out for lunch and shit, puffing on the blunt to get my head wrecked. Boogie into my Walkman with the S on my chest. Bust a move. Yes, I'm a superhero, don't forget. I smoke mad niggas, so to hell with cigarettes. But anyway, let's get back to the skit. You know who the fuck
Who Killed Jane by the Hit Squad, but by EPMD. But I never heard any other Jane's, just the one on the Business Never Personal. That was my first EPMD album.
Who killed Jane? Who killed Jane? Not the squad, kid, I think we've been framed. Who killed Jane? Who killed Jane? Not the squad, kid, I think we've been framed. Who killed Jane? Who killed Jane? Not the squad, kid, I think we've been framed. Who killed Jane? Who killed Jane?
Probably the most impactful is It's a Good Thing That We're Rapping by Digital Underground. God bless Shock G.
There was a time when they called me Smooth Eddie, playing them hoes and shook the red card steady. It was Mike, for those that knows. Matter of fact, Icy Mike, cause he was cold on them hoes. We was East Coast niggas heading west. I was rolling shotgun, cooling with my man Fresh West. The Royal Blue Brome was a drop top rag. You could tell we was pimps from the Las Vegas tags on the cat, cause that's how we flipped it.
That one right there is, woo. And shout out to my homeboy Julian, New York, from LA, but friend of the family, listener of the podcast, which is an honor. A kindred spirit. My brother, when we met, we heard a lot about each other. I don't know if he'd heard a lot about me, but I heard a lot about him from my wife and his mother. I was just happy to finally meet him, and he said, Mac, like that. And I was so thrown off, and I was in dad mode, and I didn't get a chance to, but yeah, Julian, that was amazing. Because that song is like, man, my cousin knows it, Scarab knows, like there's very few people who know that line. Hermie, my homeboy from Tucson, one of my best friends, like that was the foundation of it, was that song. It's a Good Thing That We're Rapping took so many kids at that era. We shouldn't have been, but it was great. And Shock will never get his props as one of the greatest storytellers. I've never really been a huge Slick Rick fan. I've become a bigger Slick Rick fan over years. I have ultimate respect for him. When I say I'm not a big fan, it doesn't mean I don't like them. It's just I wasn't obsessed with them. It's not the one tape that I bought being, an inner city kid with no access to disposable funds and income. So I just didn't choose to buy The Great Adventures of Slick Rick. But I was aware of Slick Rick, of course, and the storytelling. And I think one of my favorite Slick Rick moments is the song on the Mos Def album. And it's not streaming, but if there's a podcast that someone uploaded the album as a podcast, and I just pulled it up there because I was just wanting to hear that verse.
And always on time and rocking your mind. It's like
sit and come relax, riddle of the Mac, it's the patch. I'm a soldier in the middle of Iraq. What say about noonish, coming out the whip and looking at me curious, a young Iraqi kid carrying laundry. What's wrong, G? Hungry?
No, give me my oil, get out my country.
And in Arabian, barking other stuff till his moms come grab him and they walk off in a rush. Distrust, feeling like I was pissed up on wound. I'm like, surely hope that we can fix our differences soon. Buying apples, breaking on.
Brute, you take everything. Why not just take the damn fruit like pasta?
I don't understand it. On another planet? 15 months of this stuff, how I'm gonna manage? And increasing this sentiment, gentlemen, getting down on their Middle Eastern instruments.
So dope. Peace to Yasin, sorry. Yasin Bey and Slick Rick. And then seeing Slick Rick backstage and how he travels and like the character and the jewelry, and he was nice when we met. Like, just, he's a good dude, man. So story raps, that's where all my influencers were. And this was after I wrote Red Dots and decided, because Red Dots is what made motherfuckers like me as a rapper. Like, I had a couple verses on the Log Cabin shit that were okay. And later, now I'm hearing from my homies that were homies with my, whatever, the people that were hating, my haters. Because I was like, why were those niggas mean to me? Like, what the fuck? I was 15, 16 years old. Like, why were people I respected like hating on me? And now some of the homies are like, because you were that dude. You were a threat. And I was like, I just wanted to be down. But I also don't have the go along to get along mentality. I'm abrasive, and I don't even say go along. I just, doesn't play well with others. It's on a lot of report cards. Remember when they used to put like, citizenship? I got a lot of U's and doesn't play well with others. It's funny now because I'm a community builder, because I didn't play with others because I was ostracized and made fun of. And so now I can build community because I know what it feels like to be left out of said community. And being a black person in America that's not as outraged or letting my rage, I don't want to do to y'all what you've done to us. I know what it's like to be on the outside looking in. So that's where paid dues comes from. And these stories come from. Anyway, but after Red Dots, that made people pay attention. I decided I was a story rapper. But still, I have to acknowledge, to me, the best story ever told in hip hop history is between two people. And these albums came out a little after Red Dots. So weren't a huge influence, but definitely encouraged me to keep telling stories and to telling the type of stories I tell. Like Walk Like a Man wouldn't exist without these two songs. And I don't know if I gave props to them, but Ghostface verse on the Wu-Tang album, 718 911 low battery, damn blood coming out of his mouth, he's bleeding badly. That verse, woo!
Call an ambulance, Jamie been shot. Word to Kimmy, don't go, son, nigga, you my motherfucking heart. Stay still, son, don't move, just think about Kiva. Should be 3 of January, your young guard needs ya. The ambulance is taking too long. Everybody get the fuck back. Excuse me, bitch, give me your jack. 1718 911 low battery. Damn, blood coming out his mouth, he bleeding badly. Nah, Jamie, don't start that shit. Keep your head up. If you escape hell, we getting fucked up. When we was 8, we went to bad day to see the Yanks. In 69,
and it's a contrast. It's a yin and yang, yin and yang type thing, because then there's Revelations by Yuckmouth.
All my life it's like I'm fucking around with the wrong people. Make a movie about my life, it'll be a long sequel. About people living on freebies and brick cheese. That's how that shit bees. Out here you have to grind to get cheese. No Bentley slip unless your name is Felix Mitch. And listen, little boys and girls, my mama can barely pay the fucking rent. My daddy is Gerald, they gotta be somewhere in this world pimping. White bitches for dough, he was a gigolo.
But both have no hook. And both are inner city tales, but man, Revelations by Yuckmouth is probably hands down my favorite story, because I love autobiographies. Probably my favorite genre of book or literature, and I guess that's why I'm so into authenticity in raps. Like motherfuckers that make up characters and talk about shit they don't do or shouldn't have an opinion on really chaps my hide. As we talk about Animal Style, and I did a song for this is how it works. This is why there should be no judgment. But I believe if you could tell a story with a purpose. And that brings us to this song.
fresh out of high school, glad cause he hated it. Everybody in the senior class would call him gay, but it never bothered him. His name Jonathan, best friend Julie, she was cool, she went to prom with him. The principal said prom was no place for a queer couple. If he showed up with a boy, then there'd be real trouble. Empty threats. But what really got to him is that his boyfriend didn't want to go to prom with him. Boyfriend Roderick kept his secret closeted, scared to come out into this world of zero tolerance. Kinda popular, played a lot of politics. Jonathan was book smart, just received a scholarship. Off to college, wanted Roderick to follow him. He see him in the halls, but Rod would never acknowledge him. Away from school though, he was so affectionate. John had a good thing, no use in upsetting it. Besides the college, everything would be different. Everyone is educated, no one would be tripping, huh? He had it all figured out, plus his parents were excited just to get him out the house, so they bought him a ticket, even bought one for Roderick. Said to leave the end of summer, they would pay for all of it. So excited on his way to work it in and out. End of his shift, he drove straight up to Roderick's house. He hopped out, saw him with his crew. He walked right up, he was ready to share the news. It had been a few days, he forgot how much he missed him. So excited that he moved in and kissed him. Roderick dissed him, threw him to the floor. He said, "You faggot, what you have to go and do that for?" Looked at his homies, y'all know I'm not gay. They just shook their heads, turned and walked away.
I know I was sitting when I wrote the song. It came to me in one sitting. I wrote it on Damon Dash's couch. I do not like the Damon Dash slander that is out and about in the nation, and it's taking everything I do not to get on these social media platforms and defend my big homie, but the scandal and whatever is going on predates me knowing him, so I can't really speak with any authority. All I can do is continue to give love, gratitude, and respect to that man, and I hope that all this situation gets resolved. But yeah, sitting on his couch in, Greenpoint, Brooklyn. He had amazing art, a big red gun on the wall. If you look at some, for a while back, I found some posters in my storage that I took on top of Dame's refrigerator. Next to that photo is a huge gun, and that probably had a lot to do with it, because I didn't know where I was going with it. I didn't know, like, the song had been in my head. I wanted to do something, but I didn't know what it was going to be about. I think I had read about something about a gay teen committing suicide. I really wish it could be more specific. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my notes. And the Derelicts, I think I put that on this record. One of the best songs. Storytellers. So I guess number 3, because I put Ghostface and Yuck in there. Isado from the Derelicts has an amazing song on the Derelicts album. Forget the name of the album, I forget the name of the song, but the song is, "As he handed me the pen, my brain had deja vu. Examination of a situation was a trap. I held the pen while thinking back to what Jack the Mac had said about a contract."
As he handed me the pen, my brain had deja vu. Examination of the situation was a trap. I held the pen while thinking back to what Jack the Mac had said about a contract. Escape my only task. I stabbed the VP, then ripped off his mask. It was Kane, no time to explain. Backflip through the window, glass at endo, and a small trace of blood left. The A&R gave chase. Radio from a utilities case around his waist to the station. I'm off for rotation. Explanation, Kane was the evil brother, too jealous, and so he had to die. If he was Kane, then who am I? Leaped over the fax machine and tripped over some demos. Saw mine's MJGs and idle modes. I drop one and it explodes. I'm cautious as I'm creeping through the offices. I hear shots in my mother's voice. I page B. I'm on flight 303 first, non-stop to New York. I gave up pork, earthquakes, and the coast that I'm from. In my backpack, a stick of gum, plus some old rhymes that I wrote. The engine broke, smoke filled the cabins, losing pressure. The seat became a flotation device. What good is that? I grabbed my backpack, then blacked up, then blacked out. Ended up on the 8 train, 14th Street. Exit to pick up the 2 to go to Brooklyn. They called it Crooklyn. They gave me daps, I said good looking.
So that definitely influenced Red Dots. I heard that before, right before I did Red Dots. So that was probably the most recent influence of a story rap that I loved. And you know what? No, it was after, because I did it, and then my best friend Terry came to me and was like, "Yo, have you heard this song where the dude's telling a story like you did in your song?" Any hoodle. Yeah, I got the beat, wrote this song to the beat in one sitting. The story is told from 2 different sides. So you hear Jonathan's side, then you hear Roderick's side. Jonathan's side is just me assuming there was a young man in my high school, very tall, slender, dark-skinned fellow with wild hair. He beat me out for best hair. We both had afros. His was unkept and cooler, or just as cool as mine. But he was tall, weird, and gay. I was short, weird, and straight, but thought to be gay because I read books. Oh, the idiocracy. Shortly, no, not even after high school, during high school, senior year, I was on the promenade, and I think we told the story when I was handcuffed and hogtied for smoking a BD, trying to swing on a police officer, all those cool things. And it's summertime, so may have been right towards the end of senior year. And never forget the motherfuckers hog-tying me and like pushing my cheek on the hot asphalt. That shit, insane. I wish I could. That's the fight I would take. I don't want to fight anymore, but if I would fade them. There's a couple people, and mostly people in uniform with badges, that I would fuck the fuck up if I had the chance. Yeah, that motherfucker. Knee on my cheek, on my other cheek, yeah. And I think that's the thing, like, you know, like as a black man, I didn't think that was unique. But when you get, you know, that probably 98% of Americans have never felt anything like that, and a lot of my homies have. The humiliation, because this is the promenade, this is a tourist attraction. And my man, who I never really spoke, but I never picked on him, you know, like I said, I was not, a homophobe, but I wasn't fucking an ally. But I never fuck with dude. We were cool. Weirdos, black weirdos unite. He started skipping around and yelling like his most energetic and militant, still gay skip, and screaming. Reminds me of the homie that just came over the other day. One of my wife's friends. He's so dope. But this man has done nothing. Look how they're treating him. Not scared of the police, nothing. I forgot who I was with. Whoever I was with that day sure took off on my black ass. This man was just smoking a cigarette. He was doing nothing. And look at, like, I could still hear him. He like skip, and he's already tall. Had to be maybe almost 6 feet tall, and just like skipping, slender skip with like torn denim. I could see it. Like my head is like, you know, I'm burning on the asphalt, and I'm looking up, and his combat boots and stockings, and like not quite Daisy Dukes, but like ripped black denim, and then a black cardigan with like a striped leotard underneath, and I think he had something green in his hair. Beautiful young black man. And just advocating and whatever the fuck is called, standing up for me while these motherfuckers brutalized me for no other reason than, you know, I was smoking a tobacco cigarette underage. Something that's punishable by a citation. And, you know, I was taken down and released. They looked at I tell my son this, but if you have any kids that are thinking about graffiti, like, don't keep what you write, anything you're doodling, your actual tagger name on, in your bag. Because they took all of my like paraphernalia, read my rhyme book, of course, the second time or whatever time that's happened. No, it was the first time it happened to me, but it happened to me again. You know, trying to humiliate me by reading your raps, and by someone like me, especially, who's like kind of like, I was a forced extrovert. Like I write raps, but because I'm compelled, not because I like the attention. And it's like, motherfucker, reading your diary, reading my raps aloud to me while they had me locked up, handcuffed, sitting in the whatever precinct, and then like looking over my it was the summer after high school, because I had my SMC schedule, my classes that I was selecting, that I went to one. I didn't sign up for one course. I signed up for a bunch of courses, and I went to one day of classes. That's it. But yeah, so they took pictures of all my graffiti, and so they could match it to something and build a case. This is what our taxpayer dollars are going for. You know, catching vandals in underage cigarette smokers. Anyway, so the first verse could be inspired a little, informed by a little bit, because we saw each other in the halls. Also, I did write stories with songs because I fucking love musicals. My uncle was in The Wiz when it was on Broadway. He was a lead in Cats when it was on Broadway. I'm sorry, he was toured with The Wiz, was in the lead in the first with Jackie Robinson, Ain't Misbehaving, and Cats. If you know your musicals. He also did a musical called Five Guys Named Mo off Broadway. I got to see all these because he's my uncle, and yeah, he's also, I think I could say he's also gay, but that was besides the point, just that he was in musicals, and musicals are songs used to tell a story, lyrics used to tell a story. our high school, which I think this young man was a part of the musical department at my high school, at Hamilton High School, did a performance of Little Shop of Horrors, which I loved the movie as a kid. I didn't know it was a musical first, but another musical that lyrics that tell a story, Feed Me Seymour, You'll Be a Dentist, all those are slaps.
Hey, I'm your genie, I'm your friend, I'm your willing slave. Take a chance, feed me, yeah. You know the kind of eats, the kind of red hot treats, the kind of sticky, licky sweets I crave.
Telling the story through rhyme and music has been important to me for a long time. And there's a point where Seymour says something about, or somebody in the Little Shop of Horror has the line, red dots on the linoleum.
Little red dots all over the linoleum. Little red spots on the concrete outside. I'm talking blood, Krellborn. I'm talking under my own roof. An axe spider.
He's got your number now.
And it was in the auditorium that was a few feet away where I just had the incident with the dudes. I was sitting there watching the musical. In very true Murs fashion, I had a crush on a girl that worked at the stage crew. Not anyone on stage, because that would have been too obvious and too mainstream. I had to be underground even with my crushes. A girl that worked stage crew. And I wanted to see if I could just possibly talk to her for a second. I'm sure that my mother had no idea where I was. I just want to see if I could talk to her for a second after the show. So you ever wait for somebody who works stage crew to get out of? Yeah, anyway, nothing ever worked out. But yeah, that gave me the title Red Dots on the Linoleum. I remember writing it in my notebook. So sometimes you think you're there for the crush and go follow your heart, period. I wasn't there to date that girl. I was there to see that musical and hear that line because that song changed my life. But yeah, so maybe I got some insight, but he was there. I'm pretty sure he used to hang out with her. So I, getting secondhand, observer's notes. Instead of saying like, I was adjacent to the street life, that's why I rap like a gangster. I was adjacent to a gay kid in high school, and I co-opted this experience to make a song about allyship and, to advocate for the rights of the LGBTQIA plus community. Yeah, so that's that's it. I don't know if we didn't have anyone gay at my prom. I didn't want to go to my prom. I don't know if we talked about that, but my mom bartered with me. I got some like hip hop gear and some mixtapes. She basically paid me to go to prom to get the picture. The girl I was liked and the girl that I almost got shot up trying to get to my house, and tried to like claw my way out of the friend, not the girl from Little Shop of Horrors, but the one girl that did entertain my weirdo-ness, beautiful young black woman, said she would go to prom with me at the last minute, went with somebody from another school. I had to call an older girl that I met at the African marketplace that had also friend-zoned me, but she was older and I thought she was gorgeous, and she took me to prom. Maybe that's another reason. Score another point for the Latinas that were kind to me as a kid. And but I don't recall any. We didn't have a gay couple at our prom. As progressive as West LA was, no.
Now he's screaming at Jonathan, what the hell was wrong with him? John said, okay, it's over. Let's be honest then. They never knew the real you. They're not your real friends. He drove away and vowed to never speak to him again. It had been a few weeks before John left the college. He thought that they should speak. Scared to do it for fear of rejection. But either way, he knew the world would never accept them.
Dear America, when you tell gay Americans that they can't serve their country openly or marry the person that they love, you're telling that to kids.
Roderick was 17, in and out of jail since 10. Never knew his father or spent time with any other men. He started running in them circles with the hustlers, gang banging, dope slanging, had some loyal customers. Locked him up at a very young age, found religion and it ended all his criminal ways. He also found his first boyfriend when he was locked up. Came home conflicted, so he really didn't talk much. The beginnings of a double life. The chaplain back in juvie used to tell him that it wasn't right. His bond with God was so strong. It was until he met John. and it felt so perfect. But suffering eternal damnation wasn't worth it. He still had to see him. It had been 2 years. He knew that he could never leave him.
The second verse was kind of informed, like Roderick. I've seen like young men in my neighborhood go, you know, like we used to play like a game, like titty twisters, or like, you know, we would say leche, 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 like late. I say late. Leche is Portuguese. Leche is so leche, and my brother was very good at learning a random word or phrase and repeating it. So he would, and my brother was a little chubby, so he would like, you know, everybody's grabbing, doing titty twisters, touching each other's titties and going, or male breast and going, leche. So we brought it to the block, and everybody, you know, young people all up and down Clover, not up and down Clover, but at the spot, like we, you know, somebody smoking a cigarette or leaning against the wall, leche, like, you know, we do it. One of the homies went away. I think he did like 13 months. And he came home, and he was smoking a blunt, I did leche, and he just, hey, cuz, don't sex play me, my nigga. Like, ready to fight me. Don't sex. I was like, what? Don't sex play me, my nigga? We were doing this before you got locked up. And then I was like, all right, girl, like, I'm good. Like, man, chill. I'm sorry. Like, okay. I won't sex play you, you know, like, but, and they're like, this is somebody I would kill for me, somebody I would kill for, or thought I would, until I really, like, you know the story. But someone I would, you know, I would die for, especially at this point. And that's how strongly he felt. He was ready to fight me. So I'm like, well, what happened? And you're a juvenile. You know, one talks about what could happen in juvenile facilities with these priests, with, you know, you're still discovering who you are, maybe at that age, or maybe you've known who you are and now you have a quote unquote excuse. Like, who knows, man? But it made me start to think about that. And I thought about that for years. The way he turned on me was so violent and so like, yo, like, you know, a year ago, we was joking and laughing about this. What's going on? And a lot of men, a lot of people, you know, the theory of how homoerotic gangster culture is, like wanting to die for other men, just like Roman culture and most warrior cultures. But, yeah, you know, bros before hoes, like all those things, like when people say it, like the hetero jock dudes that say type shit, I'm like, yeah, but kind of not really, bro. Kind of not, no. I mean, yes, but bros before actual hoes, yes. But like, no, not dudes before a girl I really like. I you know, I said that on Love Appreciate too.
You love your homeboys, but you hate these ladies. You gon' choose them over her? You crazy? The ones you post up with, smoke blunts with, y'all share the same spit. You might as well kiss. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my dudes, but I'ma pick a girl anytime I gotta choose. I like Madden, but I love orgasms, and I'm not trying to have the same problems you're having.
Even though I was the gay one that read to most people, I didn't understand that concept. You hang out with your homies all day, and, you know, sure everybody has their shirts off, showing off their tattoo. Nah, man. I'm good, bro. Never was really my thing. I don't, you know, like, you are at a party and, you know, like, you go to a party looking for a man that's wearing the wrong color or dressed the way that offends you. You're looking at other men's outfits, and then you'll walk across a room of beautiful women to put your hands on said man. I'm not hating, bro. I'm just saying, though, all I want to do is read the Black Panther, bro. That's all I really want, you know. You do you, I do me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's my thing, too. Is like, what about me reading makes you want to put your hands on me? If you just like to touch men, that is fine with me. And I also go into this because after this video comes out, there's a lot of motherfuckers behind my back that had a lot of shit to say that are supposedly gang members. And I'm like, bro, like, I'm not going to bother you about, you know, some of y'all smoke cigars. That's fine. That's super phallic to me, though. Like, but I don't have a comment on you. I don't care enough about what another man is doing with his mouth, his lip, nothing. I have 4 little boys. I care about what they do with their mouth because they're usually putting something like boogers or dirt or soda in it. But other than that, the fuck does it matter to you, man? Anyway, that's how it would inform my little homie informed the second verse, like me trying to figure out what happened to him. And nothing could have happened. He could have just been up there with people who were trying to actually sex play him, and that's the trauma. I'm not implying that he was gay, but, that's another thing. I think that, hopefully when people are more comfortable with their lifestyle, we create an environment, they're not forced to do things in secret. I don't know. There's a lot to unpack here. And then just, be dudes who are supposed to care for me being weird with me. Yeah, just really, really, lightweight to what stories I've heard, but still like, it's just what kind of trauma the oppression of gay, of anyone creates, and how people act out because of the ways they're unable to express themselves and have the freedom to be themselves. No freedom to hurt children, no freedom to do anything quote unquote illegal, even though it was at one point illegal. But nothing to do anything morally corrupt, but to find pleasure, joy, and love within reason for themselves. They shouldn't be shamed, because it creates a lot of deviant behavior. Even though some believe this behavior is deviant, it gets even more deviant, if that's what you call it. I think it can become truly deviant when someone is oppressed. And I could spin off on that, but I won't. I chose In and Out because In and Out really super Christian, my understanding, right-leaning. They put like Bible verses on the inside of the cups, which is fine. I like to throw in Animal Style as the name of it, and really the Chick-fil-A thing wasn't big at the time. The ungay Chick-fil-A paid for camps where people were ungayed, quote unquote. I don't think the story was really big at the time, or I wasn't aware of it. But I was aware of In and Out and their right-leaning agenda. This is before Instagram and stuff like that. And I could see someone having to work there. So that I got that from that.
It's a California icon. This is the In and Out Double Animal Style.
Everything fresh, nothing frozen, that's no lie. That's what goes in it, in and out. That's what it's all about.
Pause. That was crazy.
So we lived in fear of God's wrath. The preacher said God loves us all except fags, and that made him so mad he started packing his bags. Said he'd run away with John until it went all bad.
Like, did you hear about him? Like,
yeah, I always knew like John was.
Yeah, I mean, like Jonathan, that's my friend. He's my gay best friend, of course. Really? But like Roderick, fucking kissed him. He tried to fuck me.
He said Roger kissed him.
What the fuck?
At his house.
I don't have him.
Right in front of his
boy's house. Do you think I have something? Should I go get tested? Fucking
he tried to beat him up and play it off.
Fucking piece of shit faggot. What a fucking bitch.
I'm so
fucking
glad we
cunt.
graduated.
I fucking hate him.
The big incident. John slipped in front of his friends and started kissing him. Now everything was different. He shut him out, never thought about forgiving him. Until he got that text. John wanted to meet up the day after next. They met at In and Out on his dinner break, but he was so mad that he couldn't look him in the face. Soon as he spoke, they both started crying. Said he missed him so much he felt like he was dying. John said, I can't describe how much I missed you. That's when Roderick pulled his pistol. He shot him right between the eyes, then turned it on himself cause he refused to live a lie. Suicide was against his beliefs, but he knew it was the only way they'd ever find peace.
The talking, the Bible is abomination. That's Ski. So last week I didn't know if Ski thought he was down for it. Ski was super down for it because he did the part during the hook and it killed that part. I can still see him doing it in the closet, pause, or no pun intended. As we recorded this album in the closet.
Pause. That was crazy.
Yeah, and then me doing the verses, and Ski just tweaked him because I think it was like early in the morning we were finishing up the album, but he couldn't get a girl to come in and say so. What I thought, someone would say. We used the Sarah Silverman thing.
Dear America, when you tell gay Americans that they can't serve their country openly or marry the person that they love, you're telling that to kids too. So don't be fucking shocked and wonder where all these bullies are coming from that are torturing young kids and driving them to kill themselves because they're different. They learned it from watching you.
Love-hate relationship with Sarah Silverman. I don't think that anyone who has said the things, like it's definitely the lot of privilege going on with her. I didn't like she dropped the hard R N-bomb in one of her comedy specials.
I mean, I had a joke with the word nigger in it that I thought was so edgy, you know, and so hip. And I was doing it all over town, you know, at comedy clubs. And I was at this one club doing my show. And I look in the front row, and the whole front table is black people, or African American people. And you know what? It was half and half, I'm pretty sure. And but the point is, I didn't do the joke, you know? And then you gotta ask yourself, is that an edgy joke or is that a racist joke? You know, and I didn't do it because I was afraid of them, you know? I didn't. And I ended up changing that joke to Chinks.
But she's funny and talented. And I just would like, you know, she got to be in Wreck-It Ralph and the sequel, you know, and she has some of the most filthy, like I think it was baby rape and like all kind of rape jokes, all kind of shit, N-word, hard R type shit. You know, I like that she pushes the envelope, but I don't know. I've never seen her like be self-aware. Maybe she is she's benefiting from a lot of privilege because Snoop Dogg has yet to be in a fucking Disney movie. I don't even know which rappers, you know. Yeah, and that's, I guess, if we're talking about story raps, Lin-Manuel Miranda is the king. I think Hamilton is probably the most important thing to happen in hip-hop in a long, long fucking time, or at least top 5 most important things. I think he should, you know, like be considered for anyone's top 5. His pen is immaculate and his concepts are new and fresh, and definitely pushes the envelope.
I'm from a long line of Latin music, multi-hyphenates. When you grow up on Dykeman, it's this music all your life, and it's a lot of demon. No say I keep it, snatching your Yankee hat and playing keep away. Now keep the way that bomba y plenas, es hard as abuelas avena. When I tinte Telemundo, yo de ir chacón está buena. The separate fridge in the bodega con presidente. GW Bridge to the heights, let me wreck me gente. Dead in the middle of minimal visibility. I thread the filigree of all bilingual versatility. So come with me in my Walter Mercado regalia. You take the puente with Tito, I'll take a cruise with Celia. En aventura with Romeo, ojalá que llueva café con Juan Luis Guerra, okay, que cante mi tierra.
Well, yeah, like you have to be Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Lin-Manuel Miranda can write your raps, but not a black male that is a rapper could be in a Disney film. What the fuck is that? And Sarah Silverman is like, anyway, if you listen to the White Man Dingles, which I lost my friend Sasha Jenkins, and he's legendary hip-hop writer, graffiti artist, film director. He did the Wu-Tang of Mics and Men documentary, the Rick James documentary, the Biz Markie documentary, the Louis Armstrong documentary, and the current documentary on Ed Sullivan that's on Netflix. He has a documentary called Fresh Dress. We did an album called White Man Dingles, and I end the whole album. I want to title the album is Sarah Silverman is a fucking cunt bitch. Because I think she has to take that. That's funny.
Polygamous, platinum plaques, filthy rich, and Sarah Silverman is a fucking cunt.
Too late for love.
But Sasha, I love him because he was like, "You said what?" And he's just like, "You rock with it. Like you say what you want, man." And that album is an entire story. And this song, I'm sure went in and why he chose me to do the album with him. But it all started at Red Dots, which started at Paul Revere, Cinderfella, and Boys in the Hood. And now, you know, White Man Dingles is a concept album about a black rock rap kid from the hood who gets a record deal. And what happens? I didn't know how I was going to work that line into it, but I knew, like, that's a song, that last song, Too Late. So it was a huge punchline at the end of the record for me. Great times I had with Sasha. Daryl Jennifer from Bad Brains plays the bass. Chuck Dries plays drums. Shout out to Noel Rubin, played on and produced a couple songs. He leaves behind a wife, stepdaughter, grandson, and a son. His son and my son are friends. Our wives are friends. His stepdaughter and my wife are even closer friends. I took his stepdaughter to a musical to see. I always try to see a musical when I'm in New York. Little known fact about me: if I can see a Broadway show, I will see that motherfucker. F.A.M.I.L.Y is my favorite. If anyone is asking, if you did not see F.A.M.I.L.Y on Broadway, you missed a life-changing experience. I sat behind Felicia Rashad. The date that I took at the time, I said, "That's Felicia Rashad," and she did not know who the fuck that was. It was a black woman, and that I should have known then. Whew. Anyway, Billy Elliot. Is that what it's called? Is it called Billy Elliot? I think that's the one with the little, I think it's like some type of English, Irish young man dancing union shit. I don't know. Seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert. I've seen a lot of musicals, man. But that said, it's not like he trusted me like to take his teenage stepdaughter out. You know, shout out to him and his wife. So that's my family. And as you know, A$AP passed, and they passed about a month apart, but Sasha's family asked me to do the Celebration of Life because it's one of the few albums he made after. You know, he's been the editor of Vibe magazine. I'm sorry, I forgot, for a lot of you guys, like, he is one of the founding members of Ego Trip, the Big Books of List. He's director, producer of the White Rapper Show, Ego Trip, Big Books of List, Ego Trip, the magazine. I forget the old graffiti magazine he did. His legacy is tremendous. Please look him up. And his father was an excellent filmmaker as well. But they asked me to do a Celebration of Life with the band. So I made plans with Daryl, who's, Bad Brains. He's an older punk rock gentleman, but he was, I had to make time to rehearse with him and set that up. And then A$AP passed in the midst of this planning. And then A$AP Celebration of Life was set for one weekend. So I had okayed another weekend. It didn't conflict. And then the family wanted to move A$AP. So I had to make a choice. Well, I didn't have a choice after investing my money, because I had to bring my family to New York for Sasha's event, because our family is our family. And yeah, man, it was rough. I couldn't be there with my brothers, and I'm still dealing with that. But it's crazy times we're living in, man. But anyway, so we used the Sarah Silverman sample for that. Me with my voice tuned and pitched up. And I think the song speaks for itself. I could tell for the big incident. That was a one taker. A lot of stories, like, I have points where I fucked up, but at this point, like, this is. I cried when I wrote this. I cried when I wrote "Walk Like a Man." Certain songs that I didn't remember writing, because it just came, pause, all at once. I get the irony of me saying pause, thus me saying it. Yeah, man. The video. I told my ex-wife I was going to do this video. She said, "You're not going to be able to do it." Like, if you know anything about me, living legends, like, I'm a person, at one point, slightly person. You could I dare you to go up and slap that person. I dare you to go up and body slam that person. I dare you to jump off the second-story window. I think the first time was like one of these drainage dishes on the side of the road where somebody got out to piss. Murs, you can't jump over that ditch. So I ran and jumped over the ditch. Like, daredevil, anything for money type of guy. Jackass. So I was like, yeah, I'm telling this motherfucker down. Like, I'm going to do it. Like, it's just another dare to me. She said, sure. Dame said, sure, shoot the video. A lot of people say, be prepared to be famous after this, because, this is what happened. I think we talked about that last week. And definitely wasn't doing it to, get in with the Illuminati and be famous or anything like that. But I owed it to the community, I felt like, to make a clear statement and put myself on the line. Also thought it was, as me cutting my dreads, and we talked about on how I was chastised in Jamaica for being a freak dread or Batiman or whatever the fuck they say about me shaving my face and having a certain type of dreadlocks. So me cutting my dreads and shaving my face and doing this was also, I think, clearing, I just got out of the cult sessions and, or they were talking about the self-help sessions, whatever, it's called, self-help, landmark, whatever you want to call it. So I wanted to do a drastic change, and this is it. Bald, face, bald head, and gay for this video. Completely, The Transformation, that's the name of the album. Love and Rock is The Transformation. It's on theme. Learning the archetypes of a hero, like Joseph Campbell, Hero 1,000 Faces, another storytelling thing. Like I studied art history. I studied all these, things like the hero coming out of water. That's why on the cover of Love and Rockets 1, there's coming out of water. I guess the quintessential, is that the term? The scene in a movie is like where the colonel or whatever, Charlie Sheen, is it Charlie Sheen that comes out of the water in Apocalypse Now? The rebirth of the hero.
Even the jungle wanted him dead. And that's who he really took his orders from anyway.
Yeah, those things emerging. The hero emerges. So this is me submersing myself and emerging lockless, beardless, and playing a gay role. I thought it was weird when the video dropped and motherfuckers had shit to say, because I'm like, Will Smith was having sex with a man, and I think where the day takes you, the 6 degrees of separation. I believe he did that in that scene. Like a lot of other men have done shit, and I guess that's why Will Smith got famous. It had nothing to do with his skills, right? Just because he, but no one hates Will Smith. But to this day, there are motherfuckers that don't fuck with me because of that video, but not, one of them kind of said something to my face, and it, like I said, it was a dude that's not even a rapper, and he's in fashion, and but I quickly shut that down. I was definitely ready to fight about that. And I think, say what you want, Will, about me, but in the honorable words of Pimp C, motherfuckers know at that point, not anymore, praise God. But at that point in my life, a fight come with that.
And a fight go with that. You feel me?
So motherfuckers knew better, or it wasn't that important to them. Or even then, back then, this is before cancel culture. Because when cancel culture came, a lot of the motherfuckers that I know, or I don't know, but because people would tell me, oh, they still say this behind your back. Oh, they still say this behind your back. A lot of those motherfuckers changed up their opinion when during the pandemic and whatever, the cultural shift. Seen a lot of motherfuckers change their tune. And I hate it too, because that's another reason why I shot this video, because to me, that's what allyship looks like. It's not fucking, you post about this and that and this and that, or you say this, lip service. It's not about lip service. And that's another funny thing enough. That's the name of the Angelique show, where I filleted or gave head to the porn star. I went from all the, black men in the industry. Oh, that motherfucker crazy. Oh, fuck, hey, yeah. That nigga, he's so dope, blah, blah, blah. That's crazy. To, oh, this nigga gay. Oh, fuck that nigga. Blah. Like, I did reaching heterosexual and homosexual heights within in the gossip circles was hilarious too. But yeah, seeing these motherfuckers come out and say they're allies, fuck out of here, bro. Or maybe you had to change your heart and it was just later. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I need to see it. Not you kiss a man, but I need to see you actively advocating for and being an ally for the LGBTQI plus community. Where are the gay and trans people on your staff, in your inner circle, on your tours? Fuck out of here. Coward. That was mainly directed to one person or a couple people, but yeah. That's why I love Tucson. My homie Roland plays the priest in the video. Tommy, the director, plays the principal.
The principal said prom was no place for a queer couple. If he showed up with a boy, then there'd be real trouble.
Tommy and Marco really went all out, just like like asking a friend who was a principal to use the school. We shot the bedroom scenes in a hotel room and like the glass breaking, and the other homie let us shoot on his porch, and shout out to Cash and Che for being in the video as my friends on the steps. And I cannot remember the young man's name who played my boyfriend in this thing. And it's so weird for me to even say that, but when I tell you the experience itself was enlightening. So the gentleman who he has his own story, it's not mine to tell, but he has a real story about being gay, but he's one of the best or was one of the best boxers in Arizona and maybe possibly in the nation. And I met him through my ex-wife was doing stuff at a boxing gym. And as we asked around trying to cast this role, he was down. And we didn't film the kiss till the end. But like the parts where we're holding hands or, he's sitting in my lap, shit like that. Like no one knows we're filming a video because they were off in the cut, like trying to get like a natural shot. Seeing mothers snatch their children away from me, seeing the looks that we got from other people, I was like, fuck, man. If you just want to hold your lover's hand in the park and you're gay, this shit is hard. It shouldn't be like this. It like what? What does that hurt you? I guess like it maybe introduces the idea to a kid who hasn't seen it before. I want to lean and say, I get that. I guess. But like, it was like, it wasn't like like we were downtown LA trying to get some fucking food and this dude has his dick out. I hope my kid doesn't see it, but I'm not horrified. It's life. They're gonna like, especially now, like whew. Like I see, like you pull him to the side, you make note of it, you whisper, but like it was like the one I remember specifically was like there was a fire, like picked up their daughter and like it was wild, man. I was like, and noticing with him, I'm like, you deal with this shit every day. He's like, yeah, man. Like it's like the equivalent of like you like being able to go in blackface somewhere, but authentic blackface, and you being a black person for a week. But I could instantly be gay just by holding someone's hand and you not knowing me. My cousins, family members play kids in the hall, like my cousins, my wife's cousins, my cousins at the time, my cousins-in-law, they were in high school. Seeing them, just watching this video again was so dope as they, it's nice. I'm sure they wanted to be in a rap video, but it was just nice of seeing how the community came together. Like community is so important, man. The community knowing what this video was about, people volunteering schools and time and to shoot the video, unpaid extras and shit like that to create and take this stand is dope. I had to grow out my beard. I think we shot the performance before we shot the video, before I shaved everything off with the legalized gay repeal Prop 8 sweatshirt on. Oh, one of the first sweatshirts I ever got that was a t-shirt sweatshirt. I love that shit. The crazy part, the fucking me bringing it's so fucking Arizona. Like somebody had a cousin or something that worked at the restaurant. Like I was like, how are we gonna get the In-N-Out shot? And the fact that it's Arizona and motherfuckers were like, as long as you buy something, like that you could shoot, like like permits and shit, like like it would. But there's a huge gas station behind us too. We're in broad daylight. I pull out that burner. I pull out the big ass gun, chrome gun, pointed at somebody, nothing. Nobody said shit to anyone because motherfuckers in Arizona love guns. We got the shot off for the real In-N-Out. That was a plus. I don't even know if I feel like I shouldn't say that on here, but hey, we're gonna be shooting this outside. Okay. We're closing up. Just, we got to turn the lights out this time. Motherfuckers out there with guns and cameras. Man, in LA, you could never. Man, just shout out to Tucson, bro. Wearing my own merch. Yeah, the set design, everything was good, man. I was, like the quality of the film is like, it's a little dated, but back then it was good, man. I don't know what I spent on it. I know I didn't pay anyone enough, but I'm grateful. Comedian came out with a tweet. I remember being overseas, getting the call, and my niggas like, "What you want us to do? Beat this motherfucker up?" I think it wasn't even one. It was one of my homies. I was on tour with like, "Hey, girl, like what does he want us to do?" I'm like, chill. Like I said a line in the new song. Our song had Third World. Like when you're famous, gotta have a sense of humor to deal with constant bullshit and the rumors. Like I had to look at like, oh, this comedian took time out of his day to make a joke about me. And didn't have to include a picture of me because motherfuckers know who I am, especially motherfuckers in the black community in LA. It's weird. As I travel, when I'm in Chicago and more places and down south, like Atlanta, like I do have black fans. I just don't have them in LA. That's the weirdest shit to me because I'm very black LA. But at the time, I was like, oh, the black community is aware of me. That's cute. Like, cause this is definitely a very black comedian. This nigga Murs kissed a nigga in a video and didn't even get 1 million views. You fucking homophobic piece of shit. I don't give a fuck, but I know you're being funny. I hope you're just being funny. But at first I was like, what? I didn't do it for the views, but I hoped it would be bigger. I hope, but I didn't need to be like gay couples coming to me and saying like, I came out or this helped empower me. I've had people wait at the merch booth to tell me like I came out to my family because of this song. This the one person who told me that made it worth it immediately. And when I tell you motherfuckers talk shit about me, like I said, I've been blackballed and cut out of certain circles, people of certain faiths, when they meet me are cool. And then someone whispers to them, blah, 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 then they stop returning my calls. I'll take it every time. I don't give a fuck. People that I know that are sticking up for me, like I apologize. I put them in that position before, we did, I think Mall Dogs, like I should sat down and showed Tabby and D1. I was like, yo, we're doing this movie together, but I want y'all to know we're about to drop this video if y'all still want to. And they were cool with it. I was like, because I know like these are people I felt like were going to bat for me and had to explain some shit to people who really don't get it. So I had rappers that I loved that were definitely very more street and dealt with a lot of jail and prison culture that I apologize. They didn't ask me to, but I was like, I'm sorry, man. I know. And I heard that they were sticking up for me. I'm like, I'm sorry I put you in that position. People who stick up for you when you're not in a room. I made it harder for them to advocate for me. I don't say harder, but just it was another challenge. Like I'm already weird. I'm already, and for them to still say, hey, I don't give a fuck. You're not about to say that that's my nigga. You know what I mean? Like that meant a lot to me. So every fake friend I lost, every fucking homophobe or homo hater, you especially, maybe it's because you want to eat a dick. So eat a dick on my behalf. Please. Eat a few. And then we get to the kiss, man. And like, I've said this in a couple interviews now, like I know that for most people it's not a choice. I was like, we're gonna get this angle. And I'm like, yeah, get this. And even the director was like, you're going to get this angle and this is the only angle we're going to get. So don't fuck it up. And I'm like, nah, we're going to get it from the other angle. And then we did some tongue from this angle. Like, I was just like, yeah, whatever. As soon as our lips touched, it wasn't like he doesn't have a beard. I can't even imagine what it'd be like in a beard. It was just an instant nope. My body was like, no. And I feel bad for anyone who has that feeling when they are hetero and not really hetero, when they have to play or fake being hetero to save their life, to have a more comfortable life. If you have to feel that feeling every day because that's what the world expects of you, my heart goes out. My heart going thoughts and all that shit is not enough. Because I'm somebody who's like, oh yeah, man, I'm going to tongue this motherfucker down. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Like, I said, I hope you got that shot because that's it. I'll never do that again. And I have the luxury of having that choice where I never want to do that again. But what if that's really how I felt? And I expressed my love for another human. And I couldn't because that would be risking my life. And so I had to do something. When people say it feels right and it feels wrong, it's more than that, man. I don't know. I can't say for them, but I know for me as a heterosexual male, it felt wrong. And that's why maybe bisexual is a real thing. Like I didn't think bisexual was not maybe. That's why bisexual is a real thing. Like I can't be even bi. I can't do that and do this. I can't do that. That's not right for me. And I know if I feel that way, and some people say, no, because that's natural. If it feels unnatural, why would you do it? All I can say is like, I've been to that cliff and jumped off and I didn't make it I couldn't even make it fully to the other side. Like I was like, oh no. I had cameras set up. I wanted to make a point. I'm an ally. I'm advocating. And my body shut down. It wasn't even just my body, soul, my body, mind, and soul shut. No, a heart. And it'd be great to be like, oh yeah, that's what I know. I'm not gay. Like it's not like what it gave me was compassion and empathy for the people who have to pretend and what they must go through. Because I wanted to play pretend for my rap video and I couldn't. You have to pretend to save your life. And that fucking sucks. Right when the album drops and the video drops, I'm at my mother's house and I get a call. And it's Macklemore. And I don't know if this is before or after we talked at Paid Dues. This is after we talked at Paid Dues. I had a conversation with him at Paid Dues. I was interviewing him, and he was asking me for advice on whether he should take his album to a major label or do it independent. And I had no idea he was talking about the album that he would get a Grammy for. I was like, yeah, man, you should probably just do it independent if you feel strongly about it. I don't know what I said the interviews there, but that's how I felt. Like, okay, yeah, whatever, man. But then he called me and was like, yo, I guess he did an interview because his same-sex marriage song didn't drop yet. I say in an interview or in the song that I would never do a song where I would speak as a gay person in the first person. He's like, I wrote that before I knew you had a song. And that's just my preference. You did it. And I think what you did is great. I just didn't want you to think that I was dissing you or whatever. I think something like that. It was a courtesy call. Yeah, I appreciated that. It's more than a lot of rappers have given me in similar situations. So
when I was in the 3rd grade, I thought that I was gay, cause I could draw. My uncle was, and I kept my room straight. I told my mom, tears rushing down my face. She's like, Ben, you've loved girls since before pre-K. Tripping. Yeah, I guess she had a point, didn't she? Bunch of stereotypes all in my head. I remember doing the math, like, yeah, I'm good at Little League. A preconceived idea of what it all meant. But those that like the same sex had the characteristics. The right-wing conservatives think it's a decision, and you can be cured with some treatment in religion. Man-made rewiring of a predisposition, playing God. Oh nah, here we go. America the brave still fears what we don't know. And God loves all his children. It's somehow forgotten, but we paraphrase a book written 3,500 years ago. I don't know.
I think that's a good place to end this week's episode. Nobody told you that. I fucking love you. Peace. 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 Thanks for listening to the Best Rapper in LA podcast. Make sure you subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you never miss an episode by subscribing on Spotify, Apple, wherever it is. If you like the show, leave a review on Apple Music or Spotify. And to support the podcast directly, go to patreon.com/MURS316, Murs316. See y'all next week. Peace. Peace.